All to game number 3 in the APSC2 Christmas Invitational. This is the finals of the finals. And let's talk about the prize for this real quick. First off, this was a tournament that had incredibly amazing turnout for a 2-day tournament for how little the prize pool was. Typically, you expect with players the caliber of Nerchio, Hyun, Morrow, Cloud, Goody, Blyde, etc. There's plenty of names. I just can't remember them all off the top of my head. One big thing is that there's only a 250-euro prize pool, and first place to second place is not that big of a difference. Now, that doesn't mean you should cheer for your player any less, but first place is 125 euros, second place 75 euros. Still a disparity in cash, but not that bad. Even if you lose, you still make some pretty good money off of this tournament. Plus, you get some CM Storm hardware, some gear, and on top of that, the StarCraft 2 Collector's Edition, kind of a cool little piece de resistance, I guess. But we'll see who ends up coming first. Again, it's the finals of the finals, so there's nothing left after this guy. Spawning in the top right corner of the map, playing for Mouse Sports, it is the Yellow Zerg Vortix. Just recently tying it up 1-1. His opponent in the lower left, playing for Acer Esports, it is the Red Zerg player, Nerchio. Now, Nerchio selected to go for that slightly earlier pool, 14, nothing too crazy. One thing I want to comment on again. People know players for, you know, some players have a bit of a reputation, we'll say. Nerchio, very mannered between games, actually. I love that they had this very civil discussion before this game even started, basically saying, like, do you think this would have worked if I had done that? And the other one answered him with, like, yeah, probably, but maybe you should have tried this instead. So, like, even at the top of the game, at the finals of the finals, where giving information away like that could cost either of them the game, they're both willing to discuss in the lobby what happened in the previous game, and I think that's really cool. You don't see that often, because a lot of the times it's just like, no, shut up, go. But, alright. Nothing too out of the ordinary. The gases have been taken. We'll see if they get stopped at 100 gas, or if they decide to keep going. The Speedling All-ins are not out of the question. Once again, you gotta keep in mind, it is Nerchio that we're talking about here. He's kind of like the king of Speedling All-ins. People saying we should play some 2v2 or something on my off day. Maybe. I don't know. I might just take the day to sleep and catch up on cutting up our VODs, though. On Base Rate TV, I'm very behind. Like, if you guys are watching this on YouTube later, not live with us on Twitch, chances are this is like way after the tournament was over, just because I've been so behind lately. But don't worry, we'll get all the VODs up on YouTube ASAP. You can always check out past broadcasts there. No matter how long it takes, they do eventually find their way to YouTube. Zergling Scuffle going to go in the favor of Vortix. Runs the one Zergling away. I don't know how long he could run away for, though. Of course, health will eventually regenerate, I guess. I don't know. Alright, well, not a lot really gets done, and unfortunately, Nerchio gets a very limited amount of scouting information. He saw the Baneling Nest coming down. He did see the hatchery at the natural, and that might be all he needs to read for now. He does have 10 more links coming off of this, and while he didn't pull off the gas, he's still investing in a lot of Zerglings to take a fight here early on. Pulling them up in the natural, doesn't want to give away what he's doing too early, but with these links coming, he inevitably will have to show. Surprise, we got a lot of links. Vortex's speed is not late this time, though. That is something worth noting. It was a little bit behind that of Nerchio last time, which really allowed him to dance around that natural base. If Nerchio killed a hatchery again in the natural, like, I just give up. That's GG. Like, if he kills a natural, like, I still can't believe he lost after killing a natural base. That's actually kind of insane to consider, but Drone's going to be pulled out of the natural base. Banelings are on the way, and the Queens are on the ramp. Nerchio has to be very careful because the Banelings are right there, and he sees them. So he's going to try and maneuver around them with his speed. His superior speed, but has to be very careful. There are Zerglings dancing back and forth here for Vortix. Of course, for Nerchio right now, what he'd love to be able to do is just connect to some of these Banelings before they... Oh my god, does beat out a pretty good hit with one Zergling. Accidents, mistakes were made. But Vortix not in any real danger just yet. His APM is spiking through the roof, though, trying to control this. Another awkward Baneling hit goes off. Nerchio has actually killed a drone or two behind this. 2 drones in total. Cool. Distraction tactics. Towards the south, though, decides to retreat back home. Shuttle Killer saying, Rifkin, you need a co-caster? Just some constructive criticism. Yes, absolutely agree. That's why I normally cast with other people, but this was a busy weekend, and it is the holidays, guys, and I do hope you're spending time with your family, just like the other casters at Base Trade TV are. I'm still trying to bring you some StarCraft content when and where I can. But yeah, Queen in the main, or the natural base, combined with the Spine Crawler, should be able to hold this off. The Banelings are going to be a little bit of a boon to this, too. We'll see just how many Vortex makes. If he comes in naked, okay, well, he's not coming in naked. He's coming in with 3, but I would have liked to have seen a few more. He's got to know that Nerchio's going to have some on the defense, so cancels this out. Try not to take any damage. Does take a hit on his own Baneling. You know, there's a video on YouTube that's quite old at this point. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's called, like, What If, or it's like a What If series or something. One of them is, like, what if Banelings could, like, detonate each other? I always think about that when I watch these Volta explosions. It's like this goo that's meant to acetate, corrode, and just dissolve anything it touches doesn't have friendly fire. Meanwhile, Terran... okay. Baneling's going to try and get connected, but with the Spine Crawler down, I don't think Nerchio's really going to want to engage with only 2 Banelings. He will need more, and of course one of his is incredibly injured. Second Spine Crawler coming up behind this, but Nerchio is not super all-inning. He does have drones being made behind this. He does have a slight worker deficit, but not by an incredible amount. Try to keep an eye on what potentially could be the third base. Forces out some a Baneling hit there. But yeah, third bases are really where a lot of the focal point for Muta versus Muta comes. Again, both players are electing to go for that spine, or sorry, the spire. Sorry, 1 letter off. And the secret of this battle is kind of the third base that gets taken. Now, Nerchio's is a little bit later, but it's actually not so significant that it puts him out of the game. What Vortix is doing here, though, is kind of key, where he's already making the extractors. If Nerchio waits until his base is done and then makes the extractors, he will be behind in enough gas that his opponent will probably be able to make out that one extra Mutalisk. And that's all it takes. That's what's really frustrating about this matchup, not just from an observing point of view, not from a casting point of view, and not from a playing point of view, but from a fan perspective. It sucks that one unit can decide the game so one-sidedly, and really, if you doubt me, go try it. 1800 Mutalisk, 18 versus 19, 33 versus 34, doesn't matter. One Mutalisk will win a fight. Upgrades do come into factor, of course, with them going for the Carapace. Again, this reduces the damage from the glaive bounces as well as the initial hit, so that's why you don't see the attacks being researched nearly as much as the armor upgrades. Mathematically, it's just a little bit better. One sec, I need some water real bad. Alright. Middle of the map, Mutalisks are a bit tentative to engage. He sees Nerchio slightly more than him, so he yields one of the Overlords here. Doesn't want to necessarily fight with another. You know, actually, there's this hilarious game. Sorry, this is not that to do with this game, but I was watching it recently. I didn't even see it when it was live. I saw the VOD of it. Destiny, I guess, did this thing where he invested in, like, hella Overlords with, like, Pneumatized Carapace to fight with the Mutalisks to soak those hits. But that's normally what you see the Zerglings do. We actually don't see any Zerglings evolved here in the middle of the map. Nerchio currently down in Mutalisk by a pretty hard amount, 10 Mutalisks to 6. If one can make a difference, you guys better believe, well, even more, 5 now can. Queen being brought to the front line, but the Queen doesn't add a whole lot to this. Even with the Transfuse, the snowball effect for Mutalisk is way too big to keep up with. So he really needs to fight on top of a Spine Crawler, because at this point, it's 8 to 12 Mutalisk, and he will not be pulling ahead anytime soon. Both of these players will be devoting all of their gas to either upgrades for the Mutas or Mutalisks themselves. Nerchio could try and perhaps execute a run-by. He's got a lot of Lings available, might try and run past this, but without Lings underneath the Mutalisk soaking those glaive hits, without Overlords nearby soaking the glaive hits, whatever you want to use to soak the glaive hits, it's RNG. Random number generator, pure and pure, where those bounces go. And if they all go towards the Zerglings, your Mutalisk is going to be way better than your opponent's as far as health goes. That being said, it's, again, RNG. Random being the key word there. Coming here towards the third base, so not a lot of defense, so we'll pick off a drone or two. Going for the mineral mining ones, not getting any gas mining ones, unfortunately, too far away. Nerchio with a very awkward Mutalisk. Oh, rallied so strangely. I'm going to lose another Overlord in the middle of the map. Tries to take a bit of a ground fight. Banelings will they'll kill a good chunk of the Lings before they get over, and Nerchio should not be able to get into this base. Vortix is way too well defended. So rather than try and kill his opponent's third, realizing he can't take a good Mutalisk fight, goes for his own fourth, and will try and catch up, if not pull ahead, through that. Still these Lings running by here and there. Mutalisk poking where they can. Vortix is have the Spirit count still 22 to 19. And just look at the units tab. They are dwindling quite harshly for both players, but Nerchio is 14 to 20 Mutalisks. This is not a fight he can really take. Meanwhile, third base being assaulted viciously. Lots of Lings flooding in. Nerchio on his third. Gonna lose everything. And good game is called. Vortix will take game number 3, leading the series now 2-1 in this best of 5 final.